This edition of 10 in 10. Today we're going to look at 10 things you can do in the Safari web browser that comes with your Macintosh computer. I'm going to start the timer. We've got 10 minutes to get all this done, so sit back and relax. We've got a lot to cover here. So the first thing I want to do is show you, I've already turned Safari on. So I have a lot of things going in the windows here. Let's pretend I'm reading the El Paso Times. So I've gone to the El Paso Times. I'm looking at their website. Oh, here's something about EPISD. So I'm interested in that. So here's an article about EPISD that just came out. So a lot of times, no matter, not necessarily El Paso Times, but there's a lot of websites that have a lot of noise that go in. And so it's very distracting, not only for me, but also for students as well. Safari has something called a reader that's built in, which really takes all that noise away. So you can see, here's the article. If I'm scrolling down, I have lots of distractions going on, ads, all kinds of different stuff on the right. But if I go up to my URL and click on the lines that are in the left-hand side of it, it says Show Reader View. When I click on that, I get that article that I'm looking at, but that's it. There's no advertisements, there's no anything else. I just get that article, and that's an awesome tool to have in that. And that's called the Safari Reader. If I click it off, then it's gone. If you're like me, when you surf the web, you go to lots of different places, and you end up with lots of different tabs that are open. And so you can actually move tabs around so that they're the ones that are important and not important. So here's, for instance, my website, which is called HoldThink, and I want to move it to the edge, to the right-hand side. And all I have to do is click on it and move it. And just I'm clicking and see, so you can move your tabs around. Maybe I want that to be in the center of what I'm looking at. Maybe I want the KVIA website to be over there on the right-hand side. There's all different ways to just move things around for that. Let's go back to my website, which I really like. I like my website. So I want to keep it up there, and so I don't want to have to search for it every single time. You can do something called pinning a website. And the way to pin the website so that it's always there is you highlight the tab that you want to go, like maybe it'd be Open Education Resources. I'm going to use my website as the one I'm going to pin. And I go to Window, and I click Pin the tab. Now notice what's going to happen on the left-hand side of the screen. Boom! I've got this little T there it's because I'm in Tumblr. And so now if I click on all these, but notice the tab is gone. But if I click on the little T there, I've pinned that tab. It's always going to be there. So now I don't have to go looking for it in all my tabs that I have going. So I can pin a tab. I'm going to go back to my El Paso Times website real quick, just to you can see that in this article here, there's a video that goes with it. It also has an ad that goes with it as well. But if I start that video and it's playing,
I know I'm late. I gotta go.
And I'm going to turn the sound off. We know that the sound's playing. If I scroll out of that, look what happens. The video plays down here in the corner, so I can still read the article, listen to the video if I need to. I can turn it on and off if I want to. And so that's a really neat thing where you can, it's called floating video. The video floats, and I can turn it on, I can turn it off, I can control it if I want. And so that's kind of a neat thing as well. That's called the floating video that I can have going. Okay, that's a really neat thing to have. Let's go back to, I don't know, Open Education Resources. This is a website that I've got open here. And maybe I'm, actually let's go over to another window. I like this one. It's very clever. They've got the Smithsonian website. If you've never been to the Smithsonian website, you really need to go there. And so I want to do something called find on the page. So let's see if I've got a word in here. Let's see. I'm going to pick a word. Fiber. Let's say fiber, for instance. I can go up to Edit, and I can go to Find, and I go Find, and I can type in fiber. Then everywhere that fiber shows up in that article will be highlighted for me. So that's a really cool tool to have too, especially if you have an article that's got one word a lot of times. So like here, I've got octopus in this article about octopi, and so there's actually 7 matches, and if I just click on it, I can see that it shows up. These are the 7 places that octopus shows up in this article. That's kind of cool. Again, we can go back and see the reader view of this article, which is a lot easier to read, I think. So find on page is a really cool thing. So let's see what else. One of the neat things about Mac OS is that you can do a split screen. You can actually have multiple screens open at one time. The way to do that is go over to your minimize, maximize, and close buttons, the red, yellow, and green. And if you notice when you highlight the green, kind of see it there, you see that little, it turns into arrows. Here's a trick that works on all of them actually, especially programs that are written by Apple. And so since Safari is written by Apple, you know it works. If you hold down the green button, don't just click on it, but if you hold it down, you'll notice your screen splits. So now you have a screen over here with one thing going. Let's go back. And you can then have another screen open on this side. So you can actually have 2 screens going at the same time. This is really cool if you have students that are working on a project. So I'm going to go into my Office 365 real quick, turn on a Word document real quick. And so my student is working on this article about, I don't know, arthropods or octopi. And I can copy and paste what I do in this article, and I can just come over to my Word document. And now I've got part of my Word document. And what's really neat about that is that it even, when you copy from many websites, it even gives the website that it's coming from. So split screen is a really cool thing to see. Having 2 screens open at once. A lot of times we have this toolbar going. Whoops, excuse me. I'm going to pop out of here. We have a toolbar going, and we want to add some things to it. And you can customize your toolbar in Safari by clicking on the control button and clicking on your arrow on your cursor, and click customize toolbar. And then what happens is all the things that you can add to the toolbar will show up. So say for instance I want to add I don't know, I want to add zooming. So instead of having to go to my menu bar, I just add it up here. So now I've got zooming in my toolbar. Instead of having to go up here and search for it every time, it's always right there. So that's kind of neat. I can also add it in the mail. I can highlight things. So that's kind of a really neat thing to have. Sometimes when you're surfing, it's really easy to get like tons and tons of windows going at one time. So like here I've got a window with multiple, I'm going to close that down by the way so you can see. So I've got like 2 tabs going here. I've got another window with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tabs over here. I've been surfing for a while, so I'm so confused. I don't know what I'm doing. So they have something in Safari called merging those. And so you can go up to window, and you can say merge all the windows, and what that does is puts all the tabs from all the windows into a single window. And so I go merge the tabs, notice that it's gotten rid of that other window, and now the ones that were in the back, my NASA website and my Smithsonian website, are now all in one window. That's a really cool thing to do too. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but you can actually highlight, I don't know, just maybe one little sentence here, and you can have it read to you. You can go up to edit, say speech.
The results are impressive, writes Cecilia Lasci, a robotics professor at the Sant'Anna School of Advanced Studies in Pisa, Italy, commenting on Pickle's work in science.
So that's kind of a cool thing. You can change the voice. That's really not the best voice that you can have. So you can have it read to you. And if you want to close all the windows and everything all at once, you just highlight the X, press Option, and it closes all of them down except the one that you're looking at. So that's 10 things that we've done in 10 minutes, and we got it in on time. That's amazing. Hope you use it. Bye-bye.